Okay. Now that we're done, I can let you guys know something. I'll let you guys in on a little bit of a secret. And I did post this to patrons at the start of this round. With the completion of this game, every team I was cheering for in this round won, except Dallas. That is a rarity. So there you go. Because I've had people saying, "Oh, he's cheering for this team. Oh, he's clearly cheering for that team." A lot of people are like, "Really? He was cheering for Carolina?" Yep. He was cheering for San Jose? Yep. And yet tonight, I ended up feeling bad for Colorado. So, let's get to it. Erik Karlsson with an early penalty. And I can't say enough things about how fortunate San Jose is to be moving on to the next round because Karlsson had a rough game. MacKinnon then gets a shoulder injury. So his shoulder hits the boards. It's one of those freak things. It didn't look like it was that bad. He went to the dressing room pretty much right away. And he wasn't... When you see a guy drop his stick, that's an alarm bell. But when a guy goes straight to the room and it doesn't look like he's moving his arm at all of these things to me pointed to partially separated shoulder. The Avs were down to 10 forwards. They only dressed 11 forwards tonight and 7 defensemen. So while he was out, they were down to 10, and it made a difference. Brassard took a penalty right after a penalty kill was done, only 3 minutes and 50 seconds, or 3 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. Pavelski is on the first power play unit. Have I mentioned that all of these notes are in the first 3 minutes and 40 seconds of the game? Pavelski then scores from Burns and Hertl. It's the second shot of the game for San Jose, and this was after the power play was done. Both power plays batted 0 today, but San Jose looked dangerous, and that goal you could say was helped by the fact that they had a power play shortly before that. But Pavelski gets a goal, and I had to put Hollywood scripted return. Like you couldn't script it better. That their hero comes back for Game 7, and then look what happens next. Hertl gets a goal from Pavelski and Kane. So Pavelski with a goal and an assist, and there you go. It's 2-0, and you get the feeling like this is just going. And there was still no MacKinnon, and then Cole interferes. So Ian Cole goes out with interference. The Sharks' power play was very good that time around, but still no goal. MacKinnon then returned. So while MacKinnon's out, San Jose gets 2 goals. San Jose taking full advantage of the fact that Colorado seemed to be a bit thrown by MacKinnon being out, and they did very, very well for themselves. Even play after MacKinnon came back, and in fact, eventually, Colorado looks like the better team. And then Rantanen scores from Girard and Landeskog with 6.8 seconds left in the period. It's very important, those goals in the first and in the last minute. That goal felt kind of like something out of the Vegas series, and it really kind of made the crowd go quiet. Because again, this felt like something that might have happened in the last series, not in this one. Colorado never really got to Martin Jones the way that Vegas did. Apparently, Colorado's a much better matchup for him than Vegas is. Second period, San Jose has another dangerous power play, but they don't score. So Pavelski being back in the game, him being on that first unit power play, it makes a huge difference. Their puck control's great, but they can't get the goals. Landeskog is then offside on what turns out to be a huge goal. So Landeskog was leaving the ice. Technically, and they pointed this out on the replay, Colorado had 6 men on the ice. Just Landeskog was going to the bench, just standing on the ice inside the blue line. Therefore, the play was offside. If Landeskog had done what players were doing in recent games, where I've seen guys diving over the boards to prevent themselves, Radulov in a game for Dallas actually jumped off, put his team shorthanded just to make sure he wasn't offside on a good scoring opportunity. Landeskog not looking back at the play, looking towards the bench, should have been keeping his eye on what was going on the ice. And just that moment, and because remember that it's a good goal, but it was offside. So they call the goal off, and it felt like maybe that threw the Avalanche off. Karlsson then got a penalty on a sloppy play. Karlsson tonight, Erik Karlsson, I'm saying, not a great night for him. And yet, nothing comes out of that power play because tonight was not the night of power plays. And then Jonas Donskoi picks the perfect time to get his first goal of the playoffs Burns and Melker Karlsson with the assists on that one. Yes, Melker gets on the boards. I'm always excited when he does. And that makes it 3-1. And what we didn't know at the time was that was the game winner. And we really kind of sensed that Landeskog play could end up being huge. And I put here offside goal callback. Did it throw the Abs? Like I put through Abs with a question mark. Did that throw them off? Did that throw them off their game completely? Shortly after that, I felt the Avs were reeling as the period wound down, and there was no call on Karlsson tripping MacKinnon. So Nathan MacKinnon might have had a scoring opportunity. Erik Karlsson very clearly clipped his skates. You could have called that in the regular season. That's definitely a call. I guess in Game 7, a referee's going to say, I already threw Karlsson in the penalty box once. This period, I'm not doing it again, but man, Erik Karlsson tonight was caught in some bad defensive situations often. Does that against St. Louis. I don't know if they come out of that series at all. Third period, and it starts quick. So Colorado jumps on it. Clearly, realizing they're playing for their lives, they jumped on it. And they did what Dallas didn't do last night. They dominated this third period on the road in an attempt to win and move on to the next round. Jost gets a goal from Wilson and Kerfoot. And one thing that comes out of these playoffs for the Colorado Avalanche isn't just Makar revealing himself to be awesome and MacKinnon showing himself to be a big game player, but Jost is really starting to look like the goal scorer that they thought he'd be when they drafted him. So that's good news for them. Wilson had a strong power play as well. And 51 seconds in, it's 3-2. So the Avs are pushing to tie it. They push and they push. And at 4 minutes and 31 seconds into the third period, the shots were actually 7-0 for Colorado. And the period would continue that way as really San Jose started reminding me of Dallas in the second period of last night's game. Couture gets a penalty for tripping, but again, the power play for Colorado is ineffective. The penalty killing for San Jose, absolutely on point and fantastic. The Sharks were hanging on, and both penalty kills were making sure that this game stayed close and low scoring. Now your best penalty kill is your goaltender, but there were a couple power plays that I can remember for Colorado where they had 0 shots. Couldn't get set up, they couldn't get the shots, and not just the Landeskog causing that goal to be offside, but that penalty or that power play is going to be something that they remembered throughout the summer. And I put up here Erik Karlsson not having a great game. The amount of times that I saw that puck pitched past him and guys just skating around him defensively, a misadventure for Erik Karlsson. And again, I keep thinking ahead to St. Louis and watching what St. Louis just did with Dallas. He can't play that way against them, or he's in some pretty deep trouble. Grubauer was pulled with 2 minutes left in the game. I thought Philip Grubauer had a good game, but in the end, big save by Martin Jones with 56 seconds left to make sure that this game stays 3-2. And despite some late pressure from the Colorado Avalanche, and the fact that they outshot San Jose 15-2 in a period that was almost a mirror of the 13-5 that San Jose had in their favor in the second period, Colorado just is unable to get that tying goal. So the final score is 3-2. There wasn't really a great San Jose opportunity on the empty net either, but you get the feeling that this game was really close. And San Jose now gets to move on. They'll play against St. Louis in the next round. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in that series. Because now with San Jose and St. Louis, you've got two teams that have never won the Stanley Cup. You're guaranteed to have a Stanley Cup finalist who has never won the Stanley Cup. Grubauer, 24 saves on 27 shots. Jones, 27 saves on 29 shots. If you're an Abs fan, your talking point coming out of this is, what if MacKinnon had played the whole game? What if he doesn't get hurt in the first period? What if Rantanen, puts in a couple of those opportunities? Kerfoot had a great opportunity in the third. What if he just gets that over the pad of Jones? And what if Landeskog had stepped off the ice rather than standing at the bench, causing that goal to be called back as offside? And again, if you're San Jose, you have to feel good about this victory. This is 2 7th-game victories now for San Jose. The good news is they've got the home game in Games 1 and Game 2. The thing is, St. Louis is coming in with an amazing road record, and they're going to give San Jose everything that they can handle. But what a game, what a series. Game 7s are amazing. I'm sure that fans of the Sharks and the Avs probably are just starting to breathe again, just as I'm finishing off this video. And for the Avs, they put up a tremendous fight. I did pick them to win the series. I thought they would end up being the better team. But, San Jose, full marks. And again, I was cheering for San Jose in this series, and they win it. So, strange things happen in these playoffs. Now, who am I cheering for in the next rounds? I'm not telling who I'm going to cheer for between Boston and Carolina, or between San Jose and St. Louis. I'm actually between San Jose and St. Louis. I honestly don't have a clue which team I'd more prefer to see win. I could make arguments for either, but it is San Jose that's going to go on. So both number 8 seeds go out in the second round. Great Cinderella stories usually come to an end. The underdogs usually end up being the teams that lose out in the end. That's why they're underdogs. But, great round for San Jose. Great show by the Colorado Avalanche. And they've got a lot to build on for next year. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And I wore San Jose for the preview this morning. I don't have any powers. That should be the last of the proof that's needed. But I know, it won't be. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.